Whenever I hear Magilou's name, I can't help but think of Magillanica.
Magillanica? Who's that?
Oh, she's just a girl who worked as part of the freak show. Talked to spirits nobody else could see.
That's her, all right. She had many mysterious powers, like moving things without touching them and divining where people would find lost objects. For a time, people called her the Little Witch. She was pretty popular.
Thanks to her, the rest of the troupe took in plenty of cash. Or so I hear.
Yeah, but eventually they took it too far, and the kingdom tried them for heresy. I hear Magillanica was subjected to really brutal torture.
True fact. Everyone knows this story.
Well, I've never heard it.
That's not too surprising. It all took place when I was a young woman myself.
Remind me, Magilou. How old are you again?
What? How old would you say I am?
Well, from your reaction, I can at least tell you're not my age.
Every time this time of year comes around, I can't help but think back on that terrible accident.
Can you tell us about it?
This was all quite a long time ago, but a carriage transporting suspects to a heresy trial fell down a ravine. I was the one who first found them, and let me tell you, it was a nasty sight.
Oh, right. I remember hearing about this.
Well, these were people who'd made a killing running dodgy shows, so their luck might have just caught up with them.
Did anybody survive?
Apparently not. But I heard there was one body they never found.
Right. She was a girl they'd made a part of their show. I heard they really abused her and forced her to work for them. I hope she managed to escape, but I don't know.
There were rumors that a strange spirit saved her life. As if anyone could believe a story like that.
Yeah, I heard that too. But the crash happened in the deep mountainside wilderness. It's much more likely that she was eaten by a beast. I'm surprised you know so much about it. It happened when I was still young.
Exactly how old are you, Magilou?
As old as my tongue and a little older than my teeth.
From your reaction, I can at least tell you're not my age. Magilou's real name is Magillanica, isn't it? Yes, it is. She's always been so distant. Distant? What makes you say that? She's always had strong resonance and was able to see us Malachim from the day she was born.
But her family thought her powers were creepy, and they abandoned her while she was still just an infant.
That's terrible. So she got picked up by that crooked troupe that put her in their freak show.
Yeah, that was when she caught me. When I got caught up in her life.
It's hard to imagine how painful it must have been. A little girl forced to the stage, made a source of amusement and revulsion and hate. You can see why she'd want someone on her side, even if that someone was Bienfu.
Hey!
But she managed to get away, right? After the accident?
Well, that accident was set up by Lord Melchior.
What? Is it so hard to believe? Melchior was looking for someone he could shape into becoming his worthy successor, so he made sure she survived the wreck. He probably justified it as saving the world. Tell me, Grimoire, what's your connection with Melchior? I don't really have one. I knew the former head of the Exorcist a little, but I stayed out of his way. He never talked about personal matters. At least not while he was sober. As I recall, Magilou trained under Melchior and rose as far up the ranks as legate.
That's right! She worked really, really hard to get there, too.
Magillanica Lou Maven. When Melchior adopted her and gave her his last name, that was the first time she really felt that she had a home. When she lost that name, she was devastated.
She failed Lord Melchior's last test, and he just discarded her like an unwanted toy.
She was an empty shell of a person when Bienfu brought her to me. Magilou stayed with me for a little while, but then one day she left without warning. As for what happened next, well, you probably know better than I do. Yeah, I guess we do. I'd ask you to look after her, but I know how that would go. It'd have to be a pretty cold day in hell. I'm sorry I talked about your past behind your back. It wasn't my place to say.
It doesn't bother me. You were talking about Magillanica, and Magillanica might as well be dead.
But while we're on the subject, may I ask just one question? It wasn't failing to hold up against Melchior's art that broke your spirit, was it? It was when you realized that he no longer considered you his daughter.
Who can say? I've left my life as Magillanica behind me. I'm not her anymore. I'm the evil witch Magilou who fights alongside the Lord of Calamity!
Well, wherever you go, Miss Magilou, I'll follow you as long as I live!
Well now, Bienfu, you think you can get away with talking about me behind my back?
Huh? Why do you only care that I did it? What about the others?
Yours is not to question.
How could I forget how mean you are?
I'm glad you finally found a place where you can belong.